This podcast is all about the different idioms and expressions I post to my Instagram page. So go check out the Instagram page, listen to the podcast, learn some extra English, and have a great day. Good morning. Alright, it is now April 27th at 6:45 in the morning. And I just had a thought. I just looked at my phone and I saw a couple of messages from people at the weekend. I looked at my Instagram and I saw a message from a few different people and some different posts and comments and stuff. Checked my emails, everything like that. Because on the weekend, I like to disconnect from social media. On Monday morning, I reconnect with social media. But at the weekend, I like to have no connection. I like to have a good disconnection with social media. To disconnect, whoops, let me turn that off. Excuse me. To disconnect from. We use this when we want to have a break from something or someone. When we need separation from something or someone. I need to disconnect from all social media for a while. It's getting to me. We use it when there is no connection between A and B. For example, the president is extremely disconnected from her followers. Disconnected from. She cannot relate to her followers. It just hit me this morning because I was thinking, time to reconnect. So at the weekend, I like to disconnect from social media and I like to get in touch with nature. I like to connect to myself. I like to get outside. I like to go for walks. There's an awful lot I like to do, and none of it requires a smartphone. None of it requires Instagram. And I think that people today need to have more of a disconnection with their phones. Of course, this is not new news. This is old news. I'm just talking about it right now because I just woke up and I'm going to put this together with a bigger podcast. I'm going to connect it with another one like this and start teaching English this way. But overall, disconnect from is the verb. I need to disconnect from Facebook. I need to disconnect from a smartphone. Hey, can you disconnect my phone from your Wi-Fi, please? And pay me some money if you want to use it. And then disconnected from. He is disconnected from his followers. He's disconnected from reality. He doesn't have a clue what's going on. So, there's so many ways to use these. But I guess I'm going to leave you with a quick question. Do you like to disconnect from social media? Or do you prefer to always be connected? What do you do to disconnect from social media? Like how do you do it? For me, it was simple. The first step is turn off all notifications. When I turned off my notifications, I stopped getting harassed with bing, 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 bing. Thankfully, it stopped coming. Now I have to manually open WhatsApp to see a message. I have to manually open Instagram to see any updates. I have to manually log into my emails. And that does help reduce the connection. It helps me disconnect from it. Now, I live in Canada. Whenever I really want to disconnect, I just go up to the mountains. And did you see there? I didn't use from. I just said whenever I want to disconnect. There's so many layers to this word. So whenever I want to disconnect, I go to the mountains. I like to disconnect at the weekend. I just like to chill out and be by myself. I connect with nature at the weekend. Anyways, this has been 4 minutes and 40 or 50 seconds of me talking, and I'm out of coffee, so I'm going to go get some coffee, have breakfast. Hopefully, you learned something. Please don't disconnect from me. See ya. Good morning. It is April 28th. It is 8 a.m. In my hand, I am holding my trusted English idiomatic expression book. And for today's thought of the day, thought of the morning, I'm going to just open it on a random page and choose to teach you something. And a phrase today is actually a phrasal verb or an expression, and it is to let off steam. To let off steam. That is a very important phrase these days, because I feel people need to find ways to let off some steam. So there's a lot of different levels to this expression. Number one, if you're very angry, if you're furious, if you're not happy with something, you might need to let off some steam. You might need to do something to help you relax. So maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to go for a walk on the beach to let off some steam. Maybe you need to do some exercise. Maybe you need to have a beer, a cigarette, a joint. Maybe you need to go to one of these rage rooms. Have you heard of the rage room? The rage room is a place you go to where they give you basically a baseball bat, and you go into a quiet room, a small room, and you break everything. And in that room, they might have plates, they might have old cutlery, cups, everything. You have a pair of goggles, a baseball bat, and you go in there and you smash shit to pieces. That's a fantastic way to let off some steam. That's a way to let out your anger. So there's so many different ways to talk about it. So to let out some steam is to relieve your stress, to not be as angry. I need to let off some steam. I need to go for a swim. Now, another one could be when a person gets really angry and they actually explode with anger. Oh, there's John. He's letting off some steam. I'd avoid him. If your manager is there and your manager is shouting at one of the workers, they're letting off steam in a very unprofessional way. They're letting their anger get the better of them. Anyways, long story short, today's expression is to let off some steam. If you let off some steam, you are finding a way to relax. The steam is your stress, your anxiety, pressure, or anger, or something like that. So I guess the parting question today is, how do you let off steam? How do you let off some steam? What advice do you have for a person who needs to let off some steam? Do you read books? Do you smoke? Do you drink coffee? Do you listen to music? Draw a picture? Write a letter? What do you do to let off steam? Anyways, it is April 28th. I'm gonna go get more coffee. Thanks for joining, guys. And we're recording. Good morning, good afternoon, or maybe it's good evening. To be honest, I have no clue. But what I can tell you is that it is 8:13 in the morning. I woke up at about 5:15 this morning, so I've been on the go for quite a while. Anyways, today I'm going to talk to you about a fantastic idiomatic expression, which is to shit yourself. Interesting. Shitting ourselves. We all have it in common. We have all shat ourselves at some point in our life, figuratively and literally. When you're a baby, you have no control. Of course you shit yourself. If you're very, very drunk, you might actually shit yourself. But you would need to be very, very, very drunk, I hope. If you eat some food that disagrees with you, maybe you'll shit yourself. Maybe you just won't be able to make it to the restroom in time. However, those examples are all literal shitting of the pants. This is more figurative. This expression, to shit yourself, is a figurative expression, and it basically means that you were very afraid of something. You were terrified of something. Terrified, I love that word. You were scared beyond belief, the most scared you've ever been. You can say, I shit myself. So, for example, I live in Canada and I love going to the mountains. It's what I do. I love going hiking. I love going hiking in a group, and I love doing some solo hikes too. The one problem with doing a solo hike is that if something goes wrong, you're by yourself. There's nobody there to help you. And because we're in Canada, your phone probably doesn't work because you're in the middle of nowhere. So, when I'm hiking, the last thing I want to do is to meet a bear. Because in Canada, we have bears everywhere. And now we're getting into May, so the bears are waking up, and the bears are hungry. And let me tell you, if I meet a bear, I will shit myself. I will be so scared. I'll be terrified. Because let's be real. If you see a bear in May, depending on the type of bear, you're probably dead. There's an expression, there's like a phrase, I can't remember it off the top of my head now. But it's like, if you see a black bear, you're okay, because you can scare a black bear away. Not recommended, obviously, but you can. However, if you see a brown bear, so-so, but if you see a grizzly bear, you're fucked. I never knew there was a difference between brown bear and grizzly bear until recently. We'll get to that another day. It's not the most important. But if I was in the mountains and I saw a grizzly bear, I would shit myself. I would be terrified. Now, a lot of people like to say I shat myself. And to be honest, that's okay. Talking about the past tense of the verb to shit. It's a bit of a contentious question almost. A lot of people would disagree with me when I say, oh, I shit myself yesterday. Grammatically speaking, it should be you shat yourself yesterday. And we can say that, but to be honest, where I'm from, where I've grown up, we never really said shat. It's just shit. I shit myself. Oh, I love coffee. So then we can also use it to describe other people and how they feel. And this is an expression that we often use in the present continuous or the continuous form, excuse me. And so how do we use it in the continuous form? Well, for example, last week I was hiking in the mountains. I turned a corner and there was a big grizzly bear. I was shitting myself. I was shitting myself. I was fucking terrified. I was scared shitless. And that's another one. But that's how we can use it in the past tense, in the past continuous tense. If you see a person who's very afraid, you could say, hey man, stop shitting yourself. We're gonna be fine. Please don't panic. So, many different ways to use this expression, to shit yourself. Can you please stop shitting yourself? Man, I was shitting myself last week when I got my exam result. I was terrified. I did not want to check it. Everything's okay. I passed. If I go to the mountains and I see a grizzly bear, I will 100% shit myself. And I don't care. Because I will not have a choice. I might literally shit myself. I don't know. It is a beautiful way, and a very informal way, to talk about being afraid. So, that's about 6 or 7 minutes of me talking about shitting yourself. Remember, it's a figurative expression. We use it when we're terrified. We use it when we almost die. The car skid, I shit myself, I thought I was dead. So many uses for it. Anyways, that is today's thought, today's lesson, today's idea. To shit yourself. Beautiful slang expression for saying you are afraid. There you go, guys. Good luck and enjoy. And please, don't shit yourself. Stay calm. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you learned something, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.